Hey everybody, this is Melissa Clothier, the Right Doctor here for Red State and Liberty Pundits, and I am joined here with another hero from the right, Christian Adams, who was at the Department of Justice and who we all know because of the lawsuit or the prosecution that kind of got dropped in Philadelphia, and who is a whistleblower and now outside the Department of Justice, blogging at places like Pajamas Media and running a law firm doing election law stuff. So the whole Black Panther case, is that just done now?
Oh, it is. It was dismissed on May 9th, 2009. Excuse me, May 15th, 2009. The case was dismissed against 3 of the defendants. The other one has a limited injunction through next year. And then it expires and the case will be completely dead at that point.
So basically, and in the intervening time, we've heard that this is kind of a systemic thing, and there seems to be no apology for the race-based law application now.
Yeah. Well, it's not only is there no apology, they have doubled down. They have dug in. They have brought cases like against Dayton, Ohio, a remedy forcing Dayton Police Department to accept minority police officers who failed the exams. They have done the same thing in New York City. They have failed to protect everybody's rights in places like Mississippi. So not only have they not apologized or admitted wrongdoing, they've done worse. So.
Do you think this is going to change, or are we just going to have to wait till the Obama administration is over? Is Darrell Issa going to be able to shed any light on this and make a difference, do you think?
Well, I think there's a chance that Congress can shed light on it. Because of what I've seen out of this administration, I don't think it'll make much of a difference because this is who they are. The scorpion does not change when it's riding the frog's back. No matter what sort of attention they get, they believe that the law should not be applied equally, and I don't think you can really look forward to any changes until after an election.
Okay, so we're here in Houston at the True the Vote seminar, and you were talking about Section 8, which you said people can sue to have to look at the names on the voter log and see who's dead and who's done and clean up so we don't have all these fake voters. And yet it's not ever been used. Is that correct?
Yeah, there has never been, except by the Bush Justice Department, who brought 2 or 3 cases, there has never been a case brought under Section 8 of motor voter in almost 20 years to force a state to clean up their voter rolls of dead and ineligible voters. Only groups like the Advancement Project and the ACLU have brought cases under this law to stop states from removing dead and ineligible voters, like Michigan, like Colorado. So this is a provision of the law that Americans should be using, but they aren't doing.
Okay, you mentioned Colorado, which is very interesting to me because there they got is it the Secretary of State? The whole project, there's a whole book written where they're trying to, and it sounds like some grand conspiracy.
It's the Blue State Project.
It's the Blue State Project, right? And when you hear somebody talking about it, it sounds like a woo-woo, but it's really real. And from what I understand, they had laid the groundwork here in Texas to try to turn Texas to a blue state using the same models in Colorado. Can you explain how the Democrats and the left are using those elected officials to get their ends affected?
Well, Colorado is an example where who the Secretary of State is makes a huge difference. Same thing in Minnesota with the Norm Coleman-Al Franken election. It made a huge difference. And if the Secretary of State in a place like Colorado doesn't want to enforce the law and remove dead and ineligible voters, and they have a Justice Department that won't do it, you see results like you did in the U.S. Senate race in 2010, where it was decided by a few hundred votes. And just recently, in the last 2 weeks, the new Secretary of State of Colorado, who defeated the old one, the new Secretary of State of Colorado has done a study and concluded there may have been 4,000 non-citizens who voted in 2010 in that U.S. Senate race. So that's what happens when you don't enforce Section 8 of motor voter.
Right, and so we were close. That was a close race.
800 votes, I believe.
800 votes, right. And so we should have won that.
Well, I don't know who should have won, but I can tell you, when you have potentially 4,000 ineligible voters,
Yeah.
and you have an election that's close, that's something no American wants.
Right. Now, the Department of Justice is not going to investigate these disenfranchised voters. Like there's been active encouragement of not getting votes of our military officers overseas or whatever. And so, are you concerned about the 2012 election?
Deeply concerned. The people who bungled military voting in 2010 are still in charge in 2012. Mm-hmm. And soldiers got disenfranchised across the country. It's been covered extensively at Pajamas about how folks didn't get their right to vote. And this Justice Department was late to the game on fighting for their rights. Nothing has changed heading into 2012. The same people are in charge. The same methods are in place. The same rules apply, and I'm afraid that unless there are some serious personnel changes, that we're going to see the same thing repeat in 2012.
Okay, so what can people do who are listening to this? What can they do to make a difference?
Well, that's a good question. One thing they can do is get involved with efforts like True the Vote. They can find out how they can review the voter rolls in their community and get involved in enforcing election integrity. They could work at the polls. They could become poll watchers. They could volunteer to be election officials. If you stay home on election day and just watch the television, you are not on the battlefield. And this country needs everybody who cares about this country and election integrity to have a long, sore, hungry, thirsty election day in 2012.
One more question before we're done here. Do you feel like you've paid a personal price professionally for standing up for what you did at the Department of Justice?
No. I mean, listen, if people don't believe in the rule of law and people don't defend the rule of law, then what we all believe in is at risk. I mean, what I did, there's no price to pay. I mean, it's been nothing but pride, and lots of people have sacrificed far greater things for bigger principles. So I don't really feel like much.
Well, thank you so much for all your work.